Yeah, good morning, students. In the last class, what did we see? We have seen electron orbit according to Rutherford model. After that, we have atomic spectral series. This we will see after Bohr model of the hydrogen atom. Now we shall have a discussion on Bohr model of the hydrogen atom. Bohr model of the hydrogen atom. Okay, this is very important. So why Bohr model comes into play? Because already this model, see, Bohr model is explain the formation of spectral line or spectral series. Clear? So next the failure, why this model has come. Reason, what did they mention in this? Electron is stable. Okay. And Rutherford model, what did they, did not say the frequencies of spectral lines, intensities. Of course, Bohr also not explain about the intensities, but that we will see that. So, one more important, how this electron is stable. That the Rutherford not explain. Actually, the accelerating charge particle radiates energy. This is the concept. As electron revolves around the nucleus, it emits the radiation, right? So, when it is in circular motion, what is the centripetal acceleration there? So, accelerating charge particle. According to electromagnetic waves, accelerating charge particle produces waves. See, so continuously what happened if energy radiates, what happened, energy of the electron continuously decreases. Finally, what happens? It has to fall in nucleus, but that is not happening. Clear? It is not fall into the nucleus because there is a strong attractive force, electrostatic force, because electron is a positively charged, and in the nucleus we have electron is negatively charged. In the nucleus we have a positive charge, right? Negative and positive charge, which force is there? Electrostatic force, that is attractive. As electron emits radiation, its energy decreases. Right, energy decreases, and due to this attractive force, electron has to fall in nucleus. That is not happening. So that was not explained by the Rutherford. Then this Bohr comes into the play, right? So first, to understand this, to know this Bohr model, we need to know his postulates. Three postulates, very important, that you already studied. So derivations also, we will follow this postulates only. Using these three postulates, we develop the equations. We derive the equations for radius, velocity, and energy of the electron. Okay. first one, Bohr's first statement, first postulate. Bohr's first postulate was an electron in an atom could revolve in certain stable orbits without the emission of radiant energy. What did he say? An electron in an atom could revolve in certain stable orbits. Means stable orbit means radius is fixed without the emission of radiant energy. When the electron is revolving, see, that will not emit the radiation. It revolves around the nucleus in a fixed orbit and without the emission of radiant energy. This is the first postulate. Okay. Second one, what did he say? Bohr's second postulate defines the stable orbits. This postulate states that electron revolves around the nucleus only in those orbits for which the angular momentum is some integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. So, first postulate is what? It's revolve around the nucleus in a fixed orbit, right? Second one, the angular momentum of the electron. So, it is in a circular motion. When body is in circular motion, the momentum, what we call it as the angular momentum. That angular momentum is integral multiple of L is equal to integral n h by 2 pi. So this the equation of the second postulate. Okay. The electron revolves around the nucleus only in those orbits for which the angular momentum is some integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. How do we write this angular momentum? Suppose this is the electron has mass m moving with velocity, let us say v. Then angular momentum, how do we write? mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi, right? Where n is equal to et, integral dimension. H is what? Planck's constant. What is H value? Planck's constant value 6.62 or 6.6 according to our textbook into 10 power minus 34 joule second. Okay. So this is the formula. You can write this one or this one in the equation form. Next, third postulate is an electron might take a transition from one of its specified non-radiant orbit to another of lower energy. When it does so, a photon is emitted having energy equal to the energy difference between initial and final states. The frequency of the emitted photon is then given by. Okay. So when electron jump from the one non-radiant state orbit to another. So third one, this is first non-radiant, second one, another one. So let us say this is E initial and this is E final. When it is revolving in this orbit, it has certain energy. When it is revolving in this orbit, it has certain energy. When the transition takes place, jump from this state to this state or this state to this state. Transition may take first to second or initial to final, final to initial. Or simply to understand when it jumps from higher energy to the lower energy, photon will emit. What will come out? Photon will come out, right? So photon energy, what is that? E is equal to hν. Photon formula, photon energy formula. Okay, or this is hc by lambda. Just remember why it is hc by lambda with theta. Actually, this was there in electromagnetic waves, but till then you just remember already you are studying this hν in atomic structure, first we chemistry. Anyway, now here what happened? Electron jumps taking place. So So the energy of this photon, what did we say? The difference between higher energy to lower energy. The difference between higher energy and lower energy is equal to energy of the photon. Nu, this is frequency, h nu, h is Planck's constant. So this is third postulate. First one is what? Revolve around the nucleus in non-radiant orbit, fixed orbit. Great. Next one, the angular momentum of electron in a fixed orbit is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Third postulate, when electron jumps from higher energy to lower energy, photon emits. Suppose when jump from lower energy to higher energy, in that case it absorbs the photon. By absorbing photon, it jumps from lower energy to higher energy. But when jump from higher energy to lower energy, photon will emit. Clear? These are three. Will we expect these three postulates in 3 marks or sometimes in 2 marks? What are those postulates? So you have to write these three. Now, first we will try to find the radius of the nth orbit. First, velocity of the nth orbit we will find out. Then next we will find the radius of the nth orbit. Right? So in a hydrogen atom, we are going to find now velocity of the electron in nth orbit. First we will frame the nth orbit, then we will find out first orbit electron velocity, second orbit electron velocity, right? So now the first one is what? Velocity of electron in nth orbit. Velocity of electron in nth orbit. Clear? Now hydrogen nucleus, electron is evolving. Let us say this is Rn. Clear? So this is electron charge E minus. What is there in the nucleus? So this we will write as Ze. Clear? For Z is 1, hydrogen. Clear? So protons are there in the nucleus, electron is revolving. Now, when it is moving in a circular motion, it experiences centripetal force. This is provided by electrostatic force. This we frame from first law. What is that? Centripetal force is provided by electrostatic force. So V is the velocity of the electron, m is the mass of the electron. Now, centripetal force formula is what? mv square by r. We are taking Rn, so Rn is equal to 1 by 4 by epsilon naught Ze into E by Rn square. 1 Rn will cancel. This I can write mv into v square into Rn. Instead of that, I am writing like this. V is there. So nth orbit, so we can write this is Vn. Vn. So Vn into Vn. This R comes here. Rn is equal to 1 by 4 by epsilon naught Ze square. Right? 1 Rn cancel, Rn is there, that comes here. So here what we have? M, Vn, Rn is there. Am I correct or not? This from the second law. From second postulate. Second statement of Bohr. Second statement. What is that? Angular momentum. What is the formula? MPR and MVR is equal to NH by 2 pi. This we can write MVN Rn is equal to NH by 2 pi. This term is there in this equation. M, Vn, Rn is there. So that you substitute here in this equation. Clear? So I am substituting. What is this? I am substituting which place? M, Vn, Rn place. Vn is already there. So Vn, one is extra. In this place, this you substitute. N h by 2 pi is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught z e square. Right? So, if I write the constant, this is 1. Substituting 1. Clear? Okay? Correct answer. So, how many times cancel? 2 times cancel. Now make it Vn subject to. Vn, if you make it subject to, what do you get? Z e square by 2 by 2 by goes 2 epsilon naught n h. Clear? N h. This is the velocity of the electron in nth orbit. What is the relation here? Vn is inversely proportional to n. Okay? For competitive exams. If they ask the hydrogen atom, substitute Z is equal to 1. Other than hydrogen, then how do you write formula? Vn is proportional to Z by n. These two for the competitive exams. Right? So, this is the velocity of electron in nth orbit. First, we used first postulate. From that first postulate, centripetal force provided by the electrostatic force. No other chance. Who will provide centripetal force? Only electrostatic force. So we equated, right? From that, we written this equation m v square. We written as mvn, vn, rn comes here. From the second postulate, angular momentum. Angular momentum is equal to nh by 2 pi. So this angular momentum we substituted in this expression. Clear? mvn rn place, that is nh by 2 pi, calculated, and 2 pi cancel. Finally we got vn is equal to z e square by 2 epsilon naught n h. Okay, if you substitute these values, you will get Vn value, velocity of the electron. Vn is equal to Z value for hydrogen. I am talking about for hydrogen. For hydrogen, Z is equal to 1. Here. It is not Z. It is hydrogen. Z is equal to 1. Now, Vn is equal to Z value 1. E, charge of electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole square by 2 epsilon naught value 8.8 into 10 power minus 12 into n keep it as it is, h value 6.6 into 10 power minus 34. You simplify, you will get the answer. Clear? Next, we will try to find out radius of electron. No, not nth orbit radius. So Rn is important to find this. Vn is important, velocity of electron in nth orbit. So this we will expect for 3 months. There are the radius of nth orbit. Okay. So, or we call it as, sometimes we call it as a Bohr radius, right? Now, what is our second derivation? Radius of nth orbit. This is Vn. Okay, what did we derive? Vn we derived here. What is that Vn? Z E square by 2 epsilon naught NH. Right? Now what we want? Rn we want. Clear? So this value substitute in. Where do you substitute? In the second postulate. Okay, we have what we have? M Vn square is equal to, what is that? What is that? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is that? Z E square by R N. Clear? Do we do this, or we will not we can substitute in this. This is also gives the answer, but the calculation is lengthy. What is second postulate? M V N R N is equal to NH by 2 pi. This is simple equation, right? So we want Rn, make it Rn subjective to NH by 2 pi. This comes here. What is that? M Vn. Now Vn value substitute here. Then Rn is equal to NH by 2 pi. What is this? Z E square, M also there, right? M Z E square by 2 epsilon naught NH. So these two cancel. This comes up. Final equation I am writing. NH comes up. Then what happened? N square H square. N square H square. Epsilon naught also comes up by, what do we get? Pi M Z E square. Okay, this is general formula. Clear? For hydrogen, what do you write? For hydrogen, then you can substitute Z is 1, Z value is 1. Then for hydrogen, for H, Rn is equal to, what is the formula? N square H square epsilon naught by pi M E square. If you want radius of the second orbit, then substitute n is equal to 2. If you want to substitute, you want to calculate radius of the first orbit, n value 1. Third orbit, n value 3. Here also same. If you want to find the electron velocity in first orbit, then n is equal to 1. N is equal to what is the second. Here, by substituting these, H value, epsilon naught value, pi value, m value, e value, the answer is Rn. For hydrogen I am taking, Rn value is 5.29 into 10 power minus 11 meter. Okay, for first orbit, general formula is Rn is equal to n square into 5.29 into 10 power minus 11 meter. For hydrogen atom, this is only for hydrogen atom. In the competitive exams, how do you write this equation? Rn is proportional to, directly proportional to n square and inversely proportional to z. Used in this relation, we will find for hydrogen-like atoms. This is the relation, right? When they ask for 3 marks, derive the radius of nth orbit or Bohr's radius. You can write directly this expression. We know, draw that figure, draw this figure, and we know the velocity of electron in nth orbit, Z square by 2 epsilon naught NH. Here write down next, according to second postulate or according to second statement, not statement actually, according to second postulate, write down this M Vn Rn is equal to NH by 2 pi. This you make it Rn subject to NH by 2 pi mVn. Vn value substitute here, you will get this formula. So with Z, that is general formula for hydrogen-like atoms. But if you specifically, if you want to derive only hydrogen, you can substitute Z value as 1. So this is for after substituting H value, epsilon naught value, pi value, m is mass of electron, charge of electron, we will get this equation. Actually, general equation is this n square into 5.29 into 10 power minus 11 meter. For first orbit, substitute n value 1, second 2, third orbit 3, like that. Here, so these two. In this, radius is very important. Velocity will be expected in what competitive exams, right? Make note of this. Yeah, now these two we derive, right? Radius of the nth orbit and velocity of electron in nth orbit. Next, another important one is energy of electron in stationary state of the hydrogen or in nth orbit. Total energy of the electron in nth orbit. Total energy of electron in nth orbit. This we will write En. Okay, now we want in a fixed orbit, let us say Rn, this is Z E, mass is m, velocity is Vn. We are talking about total energy. Total energy is what? Total energy is the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy, right? Total energy is total energy is sum of potential energy, total energy is and why I am writing this. Total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Or this we will write K plus U. Okay, K stands for kinetic energy, V stands for potential energy. Now, kinetic energy expression in K, kinetic energy. K is equal to expression is half m Vm square because it is involving in nth orbit, right? Am I correct or not? Okay. So this how do we do? Substituting Vn here or from the first law, mv square is equal to what we have, mv square is equal to 1 by 4 by epsilon naught e square by Rn, that is there. Or instead of that we will substitute this Vn, that Vn here. So 1 by 2 as it is m into, or this we will write like this. V square is there. V square means Z square. E square means e power 4 by 2 square is there. 2 square means 4. Epsilon naught is there. So epsilon naught square n square h square. This is into naught 24. So this we can write. Yeah, dot here I will write here. E K is equal to m z square e power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square m square h square. Right? This is kinetic energy. Now potential energy U. Potential energy U is which potential energy is the electrostatic potential energy. How do you write that electrostatic potential energy? That is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. One charge is what? Ze. General formula is what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R. So 1 Q1 is ZE. So ZE into E. So this is minus E by R N. Clear? So this will be U is equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square by Rn. Right? Then what is Rn? This is R. Okay? That is there. R we will do. If they are separate, so anyway we will substitute. There are two methods are there. We will follow this one. So no problem. U is equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught ZE square by. What is Rn? N square H square epsilon naught. N square H square epsilon naught. The remaining goes, this is pi by pi m z e square. Am I correct or not? Now this goes up minus, this is total comes up. Or you do one thing, 1 pi cancel. Now this comes up m z square e power 4 by 4 pi epsilon naught square. So 4 n square h square epsilon naught square. This is U. Now what do you do? Total energy. P is equal to, or E is equal to, simply E is equal to K plus U. Substitute the value. What is K? M z square e power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square n square h square minus, because this is minus m z square e power 4 by 4 epsilon naught square n square h square. So what is common? n z square e power 4 by 4 epsilon naught square n square h square common. 1 by 2 minus 1. This is n z square e power 4 by 4 epsilon naught square n square h square. What is that? 1 by 2 minus 1. This is minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2. So this will be minus n z square e power 4 by 2 into 4. 8 epsilon naught square n square h square. This is what total energy expression. Or this we will write E n. So if you want first orbit electron energy, substitute n value 1. If you suppose if you calculate for hydrogen, z value 1, n value 1. You want a second one, then n value is 2. By substituting these all values, n value, mass of the electron, charge of the electron, epsilon naught value, h value, the answer is En is equal to minus 13.6 by n square. This is for hydrogen. That is for hydrogen. So this we do expect for 5 marks. Derive the energy of electron in nth orbit or in Bohr orbit in a hydrogen atom. Clear? Then how do you do? You follow this method. So total energy is kinetic energy plus potential energy. First derive the kinetic energy and next potential energy and do it. This value you remember. What is that? Minus 13.6 by n square eV, electron volt. So if you want to calculate for hydrogen atom, substitute n value 1. n value, suppose this is first orbit. In this first orbit, energy will be minus 13.6. You want to calculate second, substitute n is equal to 2. So n square is there. Understand? Next 3. So it's like that we can calculate energy of the electron in hydrogen atom. So general relation is what? E n proportional to z square by n square. This is important for competitive exams. Sometimes they will ask hydrogen like atom. Instead of, don't expect only on hydrogen questions. They may ask question like lithium. Clear? In that case, Z value, what will happen? It is 3. Hydrogen, helium, lithium. Yes? So like that. So 13.6 by n square eV is the energy of the electron in nth orbit. Negative sign of the total energy of electron in an orbit means that electron is bound to with the nucleus. So energy will thus be required to remove the electron from the hydrogen atom to a distance infinitely. So if you want to remove this first orbit electron from the hydrogen nucleus, how much energy is required? 13.6 eV. Clear? This we call it as ionization energy. Excitation energy is different. Ionization. Ionization means what? Completely remove the electron from the stationary orbit, innermost. Clear? Which is close to the nucleus. That we call it as ionization energy. Ionization energy of the electron in hydrogen atom is what? 13.6 eV. Because n is equal to 1, so it is innermost, right? Innermost orbit. So this is about energy of the electron. And we do expect questions on the ratio of energies. See, we have now here we have 3 equations. One is total energy, another one is potential energy, another one is kinetic energy. How do you relate this relation? See, relation. So this is for competitive exams, only for competitive relations. See, potential energy, total energy are minus, right? But which is more? Potential energy is more. Clear? How many times? 2 times of total energy. Am I correct or not? U is equal to 2 times of K, 2 times of E. Am I correct or not? Substitute this expression here. 2 by 8. How many times guys? 4 times. What do you get? Right? So sometimes they ask, what is the ratio between potential energy to the total energy? U by E. What is that? 2 by 1. If it is reverse, E by U is equal to 1 by 2. This is one relation. Next, what is the relation between K and total energy? K and total energy is minus of E. Am I correct? Both are same. If you imagine without sign, both equations are same. But total energy is negative, kinetic energy is positive. If I write like this, kinetic energy is equal to minus of total energy. Minus into minus plus. The ratio is in magnitudes only. It is 1:1 in magnitudes, not in sign. Then how do you write kinetic energy and potential energy? Same. U is equal to again 2 times of K minus. Am I correct or not? You will get again same. So remember these three. U is equal to 2E, K is equal to minus E, U is equal to minus 2K. These relations are very, very important. If they ask what is the ratio between potential energy to kinetic energy, U by K. This is 2:1 or 2 by 1 in magnitude, not sign. Right? So this kind of questions we do expect. So make a note on this. Next, energy levels. Next concept is energy. Energy levels. See, the energy of an atom is the least largest negative value when it is electron revolve in an orbit close to the nucleus. Okay, that n is equal to 1, n is equal to. So the absolute value of energy is smaller. Hence, the energy progressively large in outer orbit. The lowest state of the atom called the ground state. Lowest state of the atom is called ground state. Clear? They mention largest negative is nothing but lowest state of the atom. See, we already derived the what is the energy of the electron E and n energy of electron in nth orbit is minus 13.6 eV by n square, right? Largest negative is the lowest energy, right? That's the ground state. Largest negative is the ground state. Suppose if you substitute n is equal to 1, so E1 is equal to minus 13.6 because 1 square is 1. Suppose n is equal to 2, that is E2 minus 13.6 by 4. So this 12, 3 is 4, 3 point. 12, 1 is there, 3.4, right? Yeah, it is 3.4 eV. Next, n is equal to 3, E3 minus 13.6 by 9, 1.51 eV. Next, n is equal to 4, E4 is equal to minus 13.6 by 16. This is 0.85 eV. Clear? These are the energy levels. So this we call it as what? Ground state. Next one, this is first excited state, second excited state, third excited state. Am I correct or not? When n is equal to 1, this we call it as what? Ground state. Ground state means first orbit. When n is equal to second orbit, what this is called first excited state. First excited state, and this is second excited state. Second excited state and third excited state. As you go like this, if n is equal to infinity, what will happen? E infinity will be 0. Clear? Understand? So, from the ground state to infinite state, to move the electron, what is the energy required? 13.6 eV. Right? Then how do you find this excited state energy? Suppose electron jump from E2 to E1. Then how do you get E2 minus E1? If electron jump from E3 minus E2, electron jump from E3 to E2. The energy gap, the energy differences is equal to energy of the radiation. We will try to draw this diagram, energy levels. Okay? This is given in your textbook. Sometimes they will ask, draw the energy level diagram for hydrogen atom. So this is n is equal to 1. N is equal to 1 means this is which state? Ground state. Ground state. So 13.6 eV. Okay, we will write only because we will write the total energy. Total energy E. Okay. Next here, n is equal to 2. N is equal to 2 is what? Excited state. Which excited state? First excited state. Next, as it is, see, number is increases. What happened? Energy gap differences is reducing. Am I correct or not? minus 0.85. Then N is equal to 4. Next, as it is go, then what happened? This gap decreases. Finally, what happened? All state will be mixed here. Am I correct? Okay. So unbound, these are all what? Excited states. Okay. How do we know when electron jump from ground state to first excited state? What do we do? E2 minus E1. Right, like that. We will find the see how the amount of what amount of energy required to move the electron from ground state to the excited state, first excited state. How do you find? The energy difference, whatever is there, that amount of energy if you supply to the electron, that goes to the first excited state. First excited state means n is equal to not 1, n is equal to 2. Reason, n is equal to 1 state, we call it as a ground state, the lowest energy state. Clear? Means largest negative value. N is equal to first excited. See, always excited states always want less than their orbit number, right? So this is energy levels. So we will try to find out to jump electron from for first excited state. Then what is the energy difference? E2 minus E1. Right? So minus 3.40 minus of minus 13.6. What do you get? This is around 0 to 10. 10.2. Am I correct or not? Yeah, it is 10.2 E. Suppose it's jump from first excited to second excited state. Then how do you calculate? E3 minus E2. This you don't write, to explain I am writing. If directly it is jump from ground state to the second excited state, then how do you write? That is E3 minus E1. So like that, we will calculate the what is that? Excited state, the amount of energy required to move the electron. Sometimes they will provide, they will give the energy. We supply the energy to the electron 10.2 eV. Then what happened? Ground state electron. What will happen? Ground state electron jumps to the first excited state. Sometimes they will provide, they will give the information. We given 5.4 eV. Then what will happen to the electron? Clear? So which energy, if we know this energy gaps based on this, where the sufficient energy, where this energy suitable for the excited state, based on that we will give the answer where will be the electron, right? So make a note on this energy levels. Now see the example problem 12.5. A 10 kg satellite circles Earth once 2 hours in an orbit having the radius 8,000 km. Assuming that Bohr's angular momentum postulate applies to the satellite just as it does to an electron in the hydrogen atom, find the quantum number of the satellite. Okay. Mass m is equal to 10 kg. Then what is the time? Time is equal to 2 hours. Convert into seconds. 2 into 60 into 60 seconds. Next radius given r, that is 8,000 kilometers. Convert this into meters. 8 into 10 power 6 meters. What they are asking? Angular quantum number n is equal to 1. So what do we do to find this? What is the second postulate? L is equal to R, we can write directly. mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. What they are asking? N value they are asking. Sometimes this we call it as an angular momentum quantized because it is multiple of h by 2 pi. So N is equal to 2 pi mvr by h. They given m, they given r, they given h, but v they did not give. How do you write v? Velocity is equal to distance by time. Distance is 2 pi r by t. So this n is equal to 2 pi m 2 pi r into r by h into t. Then n is equal to this is 2 into 2 4 3.14 square r square means 8 into 10 power 6 whole square by 8 into 10 power 6 whole square by what is the time? 2 into 60 into 60. H value is what? 6.6 into 10 power minus 34. You solve this. What do you get? Angular. What is the quantum number? You will get 5.3 into 5.3 into 10 power 45. You will get the quantum number if you follow the Bohr's postulate. Clear?